We've got both ends sewed in, nice and solid. Like I said before, this one here earlier when we'd sewed it in, you can move it back and forth and get it to sway and everything. Really can't do that now. It's sewn in there pretty solid. So what we've got to do now is we've got to make the door so you can get your minnows out. With the fray bill, of course, it's half and half, so you can take it apart, dump them out real easy. This one we're not doing that because I'm not going to mess with doing the framing for the inside and everything, so you can break it open. So this one we'll just put a little trap door in here basically, and what you'll do is you'll cut this out. What I've measured here across, since the whole thing is 17 across, basically I've gone on the inside and I've found exactly what the center point is going to be, which is going to be 8.5. Put a little mark there, a little mark down here. Make sure that it's on the same run, so you know that that's the center. And then roughly did 6 inches on the top, 6 inches on the bottom. And then for the up and down part here, it's going to be 5 inches. And you can push down on it so you can make sure you get it flat, get the right size. But as long as you have it rough, around 5 inches, you can just follow the square. That's what's nice about doing these, is the squares are always perfect, so you can just run your marker. Again, I'm using red because you can see it real easily. Don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but it makes it real easy to see when it's right in front of you. But basically draw your square there, and then you're going to go back, and you're at least going to have to start it with your wire cutters. I got something in my wire cutters here. At least start it with your wire cutters, and then once you get it started, you can probably get your scissors in there or your tin snips and go from there. And I'll go ahead and start there, and then I'm going to start going down here. And what we're ultimately going to do here is this piece that I'm cutting out will actually just chunk it. We're not using it. And you would think, well, why don't we just use that piece to make the trapdoor? And you can't really do that. I'm just going to go all the way down here. I'm almost done with it anyway. You can't use this piece because you're going to have a whole square or two that are going to be cut out, and you're going to have a gap. And you don't want that gap, because if you have a gap there, of course your fish are going to be able to get out of it, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So what we'll actually do is we'll cut a whole new piece that's about 3 squares too big on the top, too big on the sides, and too big on the bottom. And the top is going to go right along with this, with the same one that you cut out here on the end. That way we can put our wire on the top of it and hinge it, and it's still going to be wire to wire on the top, but the sides are going to overlap on the sides and on the bottom. And whenever you do that, it assures that this piece that's in your door is going to be flush up against it all the way around, making sure that there's not any gaps anywhere so any of your fish can get out. So let me finish this up, just following these lines all the way down. Go ahead and break my scissors out, because this makes it a lot quicker and easier with the scissors. See, these things just cut right through this wire. I love these things. Turn around here and get the last part. I'm going to start it with these. That's the thing about those scissors, though, is they are kind of fat on the end. And us fat boys just don't like to get in these skinny spots. So I'll start it off with that. Once we get it started and can get these scissors in here, get it situated, start clamping down on it, and away we go. Alright, so there's your piece. It's trash. Got your hole here, big enough to get your hand in there if you need to. Be careful, because these things are sharp. Pricklies all over. If you want to take your grinder, you can grind these down, which I'm probably going to do, because as you can see, and I said earlier, I can't reiterate enough that I got a boo-boo. Accidentally stuck my finger too close to the ends when I was sewing the end on here, and it got me good. So, want to be careful. Like I said, if you can grind these off, more power to you. I'm probably going to ground these off here in just a few minutes because I don't like the pain. And then once I get these grounded off, and I'll get my other wire back out, and I'll get a slab cut, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, so after grinding that off, much easier. You can run your fingers across there, nice and smooth. Don't have to worry about getting hurt. You can do that with the tops. Don't recommend it because the string's in here. You catch that string, it's going to take it out pretty quickly and pretty easy. It cause problems. So, wouldn't recommend doing that. But that way you can get your hand in here. If you hit any of the sides, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to hurt you. No pokies. And that's how you do that. Okay, so we'll get the other piece out, and I'll show you how to cut the square to go over the top. Alright, so what we've got here is we've just got our regular mesh. Try to get it down smooth. Doesn't matter how you cut it. What I've figured out is with the measurements of the hole, basically what you want to do is you want to do, if you did it the same way I did, I'm doing about 8 inches across for the door, and then you want to go about 5.5, roughly. You don't have to, doesn't have to be perfect, but at least 5.5 down. That's the size that you want to do. And I just put my ruler up there and figured out where what was what, marked it, and then just follow the lines with your marker. That way you can see exactly where it is that you want to go. So again, we're using my scissors. Just go through here and cut that piece out. I also want to say for you that are going on the site and checking this out and actually making these, if you would rate my video and let me know what you think, and if you come up with any designs or use my design or anything like that, just send it to me or send me pictures of it or let me know that you did it and how it works. And I'm sure a lot of you probably live a lot closer to water than I do. Closest water to us right now is about 2 hours away, so hopefully some of you guys that live closer to water have more of a chance to use these than I will. But I'm just really tired of paying top dollar for minnows that I could be catching at the same place that these marinas are catching theirs. So just rate my video and send me some feedback and let me know in the comments on the bottom. Alright, so we've got that cut out. I am going to go ahead and take my grinder, grind off the corners and the edges, just because I want them to be smooth. So we'll take the grinder and grind them off. So I've got the door all grinded off all the way around.